Greetings and welcome to my channel. In a moment, we will be reading the actual words from an 1800s newspaper. But first, let's talk about ostriches. In the late 1800s to 1900s, ostriches were quite popular, not only for riding on, but also for a business. Ostrich farms were very lucrative. Not only could you eat them and their eggs, the feather of the ostrich was in the 1900s very popular for adorning ladies' hats. And in the 1940s, there was a lady named Sally Rand who used ostrich feathers in her act. You may not know this, but ostriches can be very expressive. They can smile at you. And they know how to tell a good joke. Did you hear about the race with the giraffe and the ostrich? It was neck and neck. They can be suspicious. This one looks like he's about ready to cry. And this one is definitely pouting. But all in all, I think they're adorable. Hey, stay tuned to the end of this video and you'll see a wrestling match between a man and an ostrich. Let's read together the Portsmouth Journal, dated November 28, 1868. Philosophy of Punishment by Henry Beecher. Among the tender recollections of childhood, none have more permanently established themselves than the memory of whippings. I do not allude to such drubbings as one boy gives to another, nor the flagellations of the schoolmaster, nor to the rough and tumble chastisement occasionally administered by the hired man, but to the household discipline, the wholesome manifestations of parental moral government. Feminine punishments consisted in going to bed without supper, or shearing off from dinner the pie or slice of pudding, or the infliction of a diet of bread and water, or for heinous offenses, the entire cutting off of supplies, and the imprisonment of the culprit in a supperless bed. Sometimes the head was smartly snapped, or rapped with a thimble, or the ears received a sudden box, sounding nearly as loud as a crack of thunder. And these amusing little reminders of duty or sin were varied by a twitch of the hair or a pull at the ears, or a shake from the shoulders which set the teeth chattering. I say, govern yourself first. Use the rod rarely, but when you take it, make it a jubilee of it, so that such an elect hour will stand up like a monument in the child's memory. 1,600 kegs of gunpowder piled up near Granley Ford, Nevada, for the use of the Central Pacific Railroad, were accidentally exploded a few days ago. The explosion of the whole mass was instantaneous, and the havoc made immense. The powder magazine was in the camp, where hundreds of men ate and slept, and about a dozen men were killed and a great number severely hurt. The dog possesses incontestably all the qualities of a sensible man, and I grieve to say, man has not in general the noble qualities of the dog. We make a virtue of gratitude, which is nothing but a duty. This virtue, this duty, are inherent in the dog. You meet a dog, and he adopts you as his master, and you will find in him all these qualities. He will love you without calculation, entering into his affections. His greatest happiness will be to be near you, and should you be reduced to beg for your bread, not only will he aid you in this difficult trade, but he would not abandon you to follow even a king into his palace. Your friends will quit you in misfortune. Your wife perhaps will forget her plighted troth. Only your faithful dog will never leave you. In a straw bed of Richard Willard of Sutton, Vermont, was hid $500 in government bonds, 2 strings of gold beads, a gold dollar, and some silver money. The bed was emptied into the hog pen, and nothing was thought of the valuables until a child discovered a gold bead in the offal of the pen, when their loss flashed upon them, rather expensive feed. A man advertised for a wife and requested each candidate to enclose her carta vitae. Sir, I do not enclose my carta vitae for anyone. Although there is some authority for putting a cart before a horse, I know of none of putting one before an ass. Several hundred sheep were on a scow crossing the water near Grand Haven, Michigan, when one of them jumped or fell overboard. Its companions followed their leader, and nearly 100 were in the water before the suicidal fever could be arrested.
Dateline, Grown, Tennessee. As part of the annual Huckleberry Festival, a wrestling match is slated between leading lightweight Herman Prone and a trained ostrich. Herman's on the right there. Herman sizes up his competition. Hey, watch it, Herman. That's a clever bird there. The ostrich is from New York. Long Neck, New York, I believe. Herman claims that he'll win the match hands down, but only if he can get his hands down, of course. Watch those long legs. Herman Prone, by the way, was picked to wrestle this match because he's known as a chicken fighter. Now watch those feet, Herman. Looks Looks like the Ostrich does this for kicks there. There's one right now. There's a step over neck lock and reverse throat grabber. Careful now, Herman. Compound double clutch that he has there now. He reaches around. And there's Herman prone. And that's our funny world.